Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 66 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Gage, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how you doing? How's your week been?
Week's been good. It's crazy times, but good week. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, despite all the insanity, it's been good overall. Happy Easter to anyone that celebrates it, and thank you guys for spending the evening with us. We always appreciate that. For anyone that's never met us, Dan and I are the co-founders of StreamYard, and we do these streams every single week at 6 p.m. Pacific on Sundays to make sure we're staying in tune with you and going through everything you guys do every time you do a show and listening to what you have to say and your questions. And we always make sure at the beginning we mention our three pillars, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. You can see we have lots of people in the chat tonight. So yeah, it's awesome to see all of you here. So one quick reminder for everyone is StreamYard Connect is hosted by Ross Brand, and those are Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. That should be next week. And as you may have guessed, we actually have an update tonight. You may have guessed from how we started the stream was a bit different than we usually do, and that is longer overlays. And I know that's been a highly demanded feature, so we're happy that we were able to do that for you guys. As you know, we've been really focused on the stability just because of the incredible amount of people streaming these days. It's absolutely insane. How just the influx of people is more than we ever anticipated. But while we were working on stability changes, we were able to make that addition as well. So you can now you can now upload overlays that are up to 5 minutes long and up to 100 megabytes in size, which should give you a lot of good flexibility. As you can see, we did a long countdown there, followed by our traditional intro video. And yeah, I think maybe ours was even a bit too long. We'll experiment with different lengths. Like 5 minutes is a pretty long time. But one use case that I know people really wanted to use it for was music clips and things like that, where they'd have maybe a guest that couldn't join live, but they wanted to share a clip of them playing a song, or maybe like a short interview clip with them, and 30 seconds just wasn't enough. So yeah, let us know what you think of the change and how you plan on using it. We'd love to hear what you guys have planned. Let me just take a quick peek at the comments here.
Yeah, I was excited to mix it up with the new intro. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like the song. It took me a while to choose a song. It's hard to find one. At least for me, I have trouble deciding which one I want to go with.
Royalty free, right? That's the real challenge.
Yeah, royalty free makes it hard. If it
There's a lot of songs I'd love to play right at the start, but
yeah, that is true. Alberto, thanks, of course. I mean, you're welcome, of course. I'm a bit underslept these days, but yeah, of course, we're happy to do it for you. Legitimate Matters. I'm William, new with StreamYard from NYC, first time here. Cool RE, the extended overlay. Yes, of course. USA live streams. Thanks for tuning in.
Howdy.
Jonathan from Periscope. Always like seeing those Periscope viewers. Happy Easter to you, Maria. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We have lots of topics to get to, but yeah, if there's anything specific you want us to cover, just let us know. Dave's been going live every single day for a couple hours. I'm cool. Assuming that's due to the circumstances. Glad you're going live, Dave.
Right on.
Hello, Zero the Infinite. I'm seeing lots of new names tonight. For anyone that's brand new here, we have a pretty cool group on Facebook that you can join if you're interested, called the StreamYard Community Group, and we're very active in there answering questions, and people. It's cool because people help each other with their setups and things like that. And you might get some cool ideas for your shows, and we have like a weekly post where everyone shares what they're broadcasting, which I've really been enjoying looking at lately, just because the shows are so different these days. Just because there's people live streaming that wouldn't have normally been live streaming, so there's interesting streams with like board games or just stuff I'm not used to seeing. So that's fun. Flavio from Brazil, thanks for joining us. There's lots of Brazilians these days. It's cool to see. We have a much more global audience now, also partly due to the circumstances. So that's exciting as well. We have our support people are always fiercely on Google Translate, converting, French and Portuguese and Spanish and all the different languages.
Yeah. I
guess I'll quickly there's lots of comments, so I'll start touching on some of the other subjects. One of those was, in addition to longer overlays, we've actually improved the video quality as well. It's a bit of a technical change, so I won't get too into the details, but animation should be a bit smoother and things should just look a bit better in general. Do you have anything to add there, Dan? I guess that's probably the gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah, just We're always
if you
trying to,
notice, let us know.
yeah, without like taking anything away, just make it look slightly better all the time, and eventually it's just as good as we can get it, right? So yeah, it's slightly better now.
Yeah. One thing, I think we mentioned this last week, but I just want to touch on it again, is there's lots of cool things on the horizon for LinkedIn Live. And I know it surprises me every time I mention LinkedIn Live. There's always a handful of people that are like, I didn't know LinkedIn Live was a thing. I didn't know you could go live on LinkedIn. So if you don't have access, it is application only. So if you don't have access, make sure you apply. If you just Google LinkedIn Live application, it should pop right up there. And there's a little form where you explain what you live stream about. But you should definitely do that because I know they've got some really cool things planned. And it's an awesome platform, and we're live there right now. So yeah, definitely do that. Let's check if we have any questions. Yeah, there you go. Ben didn't know. Yes, LinkedIn Live is a thing. It's awesome. It's cool because I think it's just the perfect place, especially for businesses to live stream, just because the demographics are so great, especially if you're into B2B stuff. So yeah, check it out for sure.
It's probably 8 months old, roughly.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah,
that might be right. I don't know. Benjamin, you guys are like Oprah. That's a high praise. So. Bruce says, any recommendations for live giveaways? Nice to see you here, Bruce. Haven't seen you for a bit. Yeah, we have for the giveaways we've done, we sort of have like this little tool we've put together. And hopefully at some point we can just make it public, because I know that was a popular thing with people that basically cycled through all the names. But I guess I know there's lots of like random websites where people can where you can just get a bunch of people to enter their name and it randomly picks someone. So that's probably my best suggestion for right now, would just be to do something like that. I've also heard of people doing something with like a spreadsheet or something, and they just have like a little macro that will choose a random name in the spreadsheet. So you can get creative with it. If someone else has a better suggestion, let me know and I'll pop it up on the chat for everyone to see. Quetzal, greetings from Mexico. Nice to see you here. Jonathan says, can you add sound when you're streaming? So not like a general background noise. I mean, you can, of course, like we did at the beginning, you can play an overlay video with sound, or you can screen share a video with sound, but there isn't really an option for like an ambient background noise. One option that is popular that I've seen that is pretty popular is if you use something like Voicemeeter or something like Loopback, which are called like virtual audio devices. And basically you can use those to basically pipe your audio in from iTunes or Spotify or something like that. And also be careful what you're piping in, because you'll get your stream banned if it's copyright. And most things, especially on Spotify, are going to be copyright. So be careful what you share, but you can use a tool like that to bring in background noise, or a digital interface, or not an audio interface like a Rodecaster Pro, or there's tons of them. And you can use that to have sound effects on it and things like that. That's probably the best way to go about it, is either that or Voicemeeter, because it would become a lot in the interface to organize if you guys had all those options right there.
Yeah, it's very simple. Like if you're familiar with, we'll say iTunes or something like that, and you want to just play a song as part of your voice, to set that up, and then you have all the freedom to just use iTunes normally, play stuff. And yeah, the program will basically merge iTunes and your mic, and then you've just selected like that output that has both of them merged in, and you're good to go. It's just, you can kind of do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, Eddie has a really good point. YouTube has, it's a great resource. I don't remember the link off the top of my head. Maybe someone in the chat has it. But yeah, they have a huge library of royalty, various types of copy of, like some you have to attribute, some you don't. But yeah, they have a great library. So definitely check that out.
And I think Facebook does too, but as far as I know, you can only use it on Facebook.
Yeah, I think YouTube you can use, at least for some of the songs, you can use everywhere.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the case, though. But they also have a library.
David says there are online wheels you can screen share and spin. Cool. If you know the name of any of them, let us know.
Yeah, because I'm picturing there should be something quite simple where like you just send people a link, they type in their name, they're now added, and then you just screen share it and spin the wheel. That's cool.
Hey, April, it was actually 100 megabytes, so pretty big. That's a pretty big file. For instance, like the one we played at the beginning here, obviously there's not a whole lot of information because it was mostly just the counter, but it was only a few megs. Daryl says, is it possible to reuse a broadcast link so I don't have to make a new broadcast for each guest? Not at this time. I know that's come up quite a few times, so we're open to the idea, but right now, no, mostly just because of the concern of that link getting out and then old guests, or not even old guests, but maybe someone who gets the link that shouldn't have gotten the link being able to pop into your live streams. Obviously, if we added something like that, there'd probably be an option to change it, but that's the reason it works like how it does now. Quetzal would like more themes. So yeah, more options besides minimal and standard. I can definitely understand that. Mortgage Classroom is new to the group and is looking forward to launching the Mortgage Classroom TV show via StreamYard. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. In the limelight set with Clarissa says, I've noticed that my video is a bit blurry lately. Do I have to have a certain upload speed? The most common thing with that, Clarissa, is not the upload speed. I mean, it can be, but you don't need that high of an upload speed. It's usually your Wi-Fi, or even in rare instances, it can be something with a router. So I would try, if you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging in directly and maybe give the router a restart. I have seen that be an issue, especially with older ones every once in a while.
Yeah, and a lot of internet service providers right now are throttling or could be throttling bandwidth just because of the high traffic. But I don't think that would be the case for you, just because they're probably not throttling it that low. Like, we don't send that much. The bandwidth's not that high on StreamYard, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good point about the throttling. Even though it's not high though, as they are, I've heard cases of where it's too technical, but packets are getting, like, not all the information is getting there just because there's so much information going through those internet service providers. So that is possible. But first thing I would definitely try is just plugging in directly into the router.
Yeah.
Wolfie says, I'm so new to StreamYard, I don't know what to say. I will use StreamYard when I can make vids. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you as well. Mello's looking forward would like more payment options like Bitcoin. Good to know. Blind Grilling loves the accessibility. That's awesome to hear. We're always happy to hear that because, it's been a while since we looked into that stuff, but it's great to hear that it's working for you. If there's anything we can do to improve it, be sure to let us know. Email is generally the best, contact@streamyard.com. NLTMW says, any chance of adding audio level control by producer, especially for mobile users? Yes, I know that's a really popular request, and we will add more audio options at some point, especially because there's so many musicians going live these days, and I know that's a lot of them would like those options. So yes, at some point we will be adding more options for that. Thank you, Ross, for sharing the application link.
Perfect.
Eddie, this is an older comment I'm pulling up, but yeah, it's 100 megs. You might have already heard.
Megabytes.
100 megabytes, yeah.
Always want to specify that. I guess a lot of people don't really talk about bits, but yeah, 100 megabytes.
Yeah. Manny says, longer overlays for all or just the paid? So overlays were always on the paid option, but the longer overlays are on both paid options.
Yeah. So if you have access to video overlays right now, they just got longer.
Yes.
If you don't have access right now, you still don't have access.
Yes. Tech teacher, that's very kind of you. Appreciate that. Bruce, great to hear that you're enjoying the stability and network integrations. It's definitely a high priority for us, especially given the craziness, so I appreciate that. Andrew says, thank you guys for being a great way to record a podcast. I can't find a better way elsewhere. Awesome. I'm happy we're able to facilitate that for you.
Very cool.
AJ says, on StreamYard, can you see if someone is using an alt account in a live stream? So I'm not sure if I'm understanding 100%. I'm guessing maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, you mean like they're like a fake YouTube account or a fake Facebook account? If that's what you mean, there is not a great solution for that. You kind of have to figure out that it's not that it's an alt account. So let me know if I'm understanding the question properly. But you can continue banning them though. So if you're getting them joining on other accounts, you can there's a moderation feature of StreamYard. So if you're using that feature and requiring them to log in, you can just continue banning their accounts, and they'll run out of accounts. Like Google, unless they have a bunch of phone numbers, Google will stop letting them make new accounts.
Yeah. And we do try to do some stuff on our end as well. Like we don't make it easy for them to get back in and switch accounts. They can do it if they know what they're doing, but we try to make that as hard as possible for someone to just rejoin with tons of accounts.
Yeah. Toya, that's very kind of you. Thanks so much. Wolfie says, can you stream and record, like record instead of stream? Yep, you can do record only broadcast, Wolfie, on the paid version of the product. On the free, you can't record, but you can always, I know some people just get it off of YouTube, so you can just do a YouTube live stream and download it from YouTube. But yeah, on the paid option, instead of choosing a destination, you can just select skip record only, and then it'll just create a recording. And you can, and this is what like some of the podcasters will do, is if you do have recording, you can also just download the audio file by itself. So if you are doing any podcasts, it's really nice for that. Yeah. Bubba's Garage TV says, any plans to offer the ability for guests to reply to comments? That comes up quite a bit. Not in the immediate future. The main reason for that is just because we want to make it super easy for your guests to log in. That's one thing that's really important to us, is there's not too much friction when someone's trying to join a broadcast. We do add the option to authenticate, but I know most people just want it to be super easy for their guests to join. So I do understand the need, but right now we don't have that. I'd recommend just like having them pop out the chat on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're live streaming to, and have them comment that way. They can still see the comments. So like if you have in the settings, there's an option to allow your guests to see the comments. So they'll see the comments from everyone coming in, and can of course address it just by talking or whatever. But yeah, there's no option to reply. Toya says, I don't have great internet. I have to make sure the kids are off Wi-Fi. Yes, multiple people on the network can be a problem. John says, overlays with alpha and sharing sound only would be amazing. Love StreamYard. Good to know. Thanks for the feedback. For anyone that doesn't know what that means, it's just like transparent. Or I guess not. It doesn't have to be transparent, but you could see through it partially or fully. Or just like, upload an MP3 and it just plays that. Yeah. Basically. Maria says, can you block or delete chat that is obscene, bad words, etc.? Yes, we do have some basic moderation tools. We always recommend, just because when you're live, it can be a lot to manage if you're having to, deal with problematic people while also, trying to interview your guest or say what you're going to say. So we always recommend having like a moderator on YouTube and Facebook page admins to help you with that. But if you are a solo operation, on the comments, there are these 3 dots. And if you click those 3 dots, there's different options depending on the platform, but you can block and ban people that are harassing you. William says, chapter 5, things fall apart. I think I might have missed something. Alberto says, your tutorial playlist is fantastic, easy to follow and digest. That's great to hear. We're actually going to update it pretty soon just because they're so out of date, but I'm glad that they're still helpful for you. David says, was hoping there was only a file size limit. I'm curious, how long of videos were you hoping to make, David? And that is one thing actually to mention, is we are planning to have something where you can do much longer videos, but it's going to be a bit different. Like overlays has always been for clips that look, similar to overlays, play an intro, play an outro, and that's it. And for right now, we recommend, like for long stuff where you need to be able to like move around in the video, to just screen share like a YouTube video, or maybe not a YouTube video, just drag a video into your other Chrome tab and screen share it with audio. But we are looking at adding like another feature that would allow you to have kind of any size file, but it would work differently. Like it wouldn't be as convenient as the overlay is. So overlay is more for clips, but we are thinking about a much longer thing as well. Yeah, some more media sharing options. Corey says, do you have a nonprofit rate for pricing, or is it just a flat rate? If you contact the Facebook page, Corey, they can hook you up with a nonprofit rate. Messenger is the fastest way. Just you could do it right now if you want. Just StreamYard.com/contact, and there's a little messenger bug there. Consult a blind guy says, I did a detailed tutorial for the blind yesterday to know how to start. Glad it's so easy to work with. That's awesome. You should share the link with us, and we can add it to one of our resources pages. That'd be super helpful. Yeah. Sophie Ann says, any recommendations for one host using a laptop and then other guests being on smartphones? Hi from Montreal. Similar advice to that sort of applies to all of them. Just make sure they're on as good of an internet connection as they possibly can be on. I'm always surprised how good LTE and 4G networks are. So those actually generally work pretty well. Wi-Fi is probably better as long as it's not, McDonald's Wi-Fi or public Wi-Fi. Sometimes they're good, but they're usually not. So yeah, your own Wi-Fi or a 4G connection, and then headphone, like earbuds or AirPods, always a great idea to reduce the chance of there being any kind of feedback. And then also just make sure there's no other applications that are super heavy running in the background or anything else that might be using your camera. Dave, guest big, host small, please. It's on the way, Dave. I know that's important to a lot of people.
We actually have a question about that somewhere in the coming up.
It's in our banners. Oh yeah, I should probably get to that. There's so many comments. I should probably get to that in a second here. Tristan says, any info on data usage by StreamYard? So I don't know if you mean all of StreamYard or just for you. If you mean just for you, while you're uploading about, what is it, like 3 megabits per second, Dan?
Roughly.
I don't know what that is in bytes. Like it varies depending on the layouts, but roughly 3 megabits per second, Tristan, upload. Download will vary also a bit based on the number of your guests, but it's similar, a few megabits per second. If you mean our overall data usage, it's very high. We're sending out a lot of streams these days. I think we're up to, if we haven't passed petabytes, we're close to it. NLTMW says, how close to the top of the list is 1080? Doing software demos is tough without the viewer being able to read menu text. It is very high on the list, just because of how much, not just in these live streams, but people messaging us on Messenger. It's clearly important based on the amount we hear about it. So it's high on the list. Okay, let's get to some of the questions or some of the topics we had laid out here. One of those were layout questions. So you want to tackle that one, Dan? I can't remember exactly what the questions were for that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a few questions mixed in one. It's more of a back and forth, I guess. So this gets back to like what Dave was just asking, which is, I know some people have asked for specific layouts, so either new layouts or just adjustments. So we were wondering, which layouts would you like to change? So I know the main one is, can you just put it in, like, I usually call it the host layout?
Yes.
So this layout, this is the main one we're thinking that everyone's talking about they want to be changed, where basically Gage and I can switch.
Yeah.
So we can't do that right now, but that's something we'd like to add. Is there any others?
Yeah, like this. Would you want to be able to switch Dan and I in this layout, or is it essentially, is this the main one that you guys are looking for to be able to have that switching ability? My guess, I assume all, but it would be useful to know.
Yeah. And then how important is it, right? Like, how important is it for Gage and I to be able to switch in this one versus, like, maybe, oh yeah, it'd be nice, but it's way more important just that we can do this one right.
Yes.
Or the other one I could see is the one with, I'm not sure what we really call it. It's like the TV talk show kind of thing where there's just Gage or just me and then the small screen share on the side. That one I could see maybe wanting to switch somebody else into there. So let us know. I'm curious to get some thoughts on that one. Is it just the host layout you want to see where you can switch, or is it other ones as well?
Absolutely. Jonathan says, is there a max limit on how many people you can invite on StreamYard? Yes, you can have 10 in the studio, but only 6 on screen at once. Alberto saying it'd be nice if either or you wanted to disappear but still speak and be heard. So we do have some options for there. Or for that, Alberto. So like I can full screen Dan and you can still hear me. But yes, I know some people want a bit more flexibility there where maybe there's multiple people on the screen, but one person's hidden. So just in case you didn't know that was an option. Let's see. Tristan says ability to drag windows to change around. So all the positions, yes. Sebastian says, really need to be able to move around as we prefer and being able to move hosts to the secondary location. So it sounds like all layouts. All right, I think that's most of the feedback on that one. Michael says have it just like screen share, have all folks along the left and the main person on the right, just like the screen share template. Right, but for the other layouts, Michael, do you want full flexibility as in like who's in each slot? Piano Video Lesson says would be nice to keep host audio when sharing screen when host +5. So you can keep host audio when sharing the screen, unless I'm missing. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. Do you understand, Dan?
Yeah, host +5 meaning like there's a lot of people, and screen sharing. Because yeah, you should. It depends what you want to do, I guess. If you have like the 5 or 6 people on the side and then the screen, you should still have audio. Or maybe you want to like remove yourself but still have the audio. That's not possible unless you full screen.
You can full screen the screen though.
Yeah, so maybe clarify for us if you don't mind.
David says it would be nice to share a pic slideshow, like a TV news layout. Yes, that's actually in our plans, David, or something similar. All right, I think that's most of the feedback there. Another question we had for you guys was backgrounds. So we love backgrounds. All the great shows we see. We always think that's one of the best parts that really adds to the visual appeal is what the background looks like. The one thing that's unfortunate about backgrounds is when you're by yourself, they don't really do anything. So one thing we want to ask you guys about was if you have any suggestions or feedback there about how you'd like backgrounds to work when it's just you, because I know it's a common point of confusion, and then a common thing people want is like, well, I only do streams with just me, and I can't really use the backgrounds. I mean, you do have the option to use the overlays, which could serve a similar function if you just wanted the edges covered. But let us know how you'd like if you're totally happy with backgrounds. Let us know, or if you'd like some more options there when you're by yourself.
Cool. Yeah, like I know the one thing at least a few people have mentioned, I'm not sure how common it is to just maybe on like one of the layouts, like the one we're on now, actually, if you just got rid of me, to not have you fill up everything, but be shrunk a little bit. So there's the background on the edge, and then you could change layouts and you'd get bigger. I'm not sure if that would be just more confusing for people or if it wouldn't look very good. Tough to say. So yeah, let us know.
Sebastian says TV news layout will be so powerful.
I think that's probably in response to David.
Yeah, I think so. Blind Grilling says, can you have your intro automatically start when you go live? No, right now you have to click it. It's something we've considered, but it is relatively smooth, especially now with the longer ones, since it was a bit harder to time before, but now that they're a bit longer, you can just play the overlay, start your broadcast, and create a relatively seamless introduction, especially if you've left a bit of like maybe start your video with just a static image for the first few seconds. That would work pretty well.
Something we've considered though.
Yeah.
Auto starting.
Manny says, is the overlay length option available now or in just a few more hours? It's available right now. You can use it right now.
Yeah, we usually do that. Yeah, it'll be out tonight. No, this one's actually already out.
Sebastian says, bigger question is, will making layouts very flexible impact video quality? Nope, not at all. No impact there. Hi, Claude. That's very kind of you. Dave says, additional layouts would be great, but definitely guest big, host small is the main one. Good to know.
I figured that might be Dave's thought. He's very adamant about that layout. I get it.
Let's see. Tom says, oops, got the wrong one. NLTMW says hotkeys commands to use with Stream Deck. It's also a popular one and also on the list. Tom says, I like backgrounds, but if you make the ability for a single host to be full frame or with a background, can the same be done with screen share? So it can also be full frame without a background. Yes. So you can make the screen share full screen without a background now. There's like these little, if you look at the tiles at the bottom, when you share a screen, it'll appear as a tile. And in the top left of that, there's like an image of a little person. If you click that, it will full screen your screen share. It's also the very far right layout button is that will full screen your screen without any kind of without any kind of background.
I'm also wondering if the question is maybe like, if we make it so that there's a margin around the people, can you also make it so there's a margin around the screen share? I'm not sure.
Maybe I misunderstood.
Maybe together we hit it. Let us know.
Yeah. Thanks, Dale. Nice to see you here. Lots of good suggestions about how to start off shows with intros. Tristan says, does screen share count towards the 10 in studio? No, it doesn't actually. It's you could have, I don't actually, it doesn't, right, Dan? You can screen share while there's, yeah. So no, it's a bonus participant in the stream. All right, we have a few more we're way over time. lost track of time here. Sorry about that, guys. We actually did cover most of the topics, and we can hit on the ones we missed next week. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in with us. If I missed anything in the chat, I'll do my best to follow up next week. But yeah, thank you so much for spending Easter with us. We love hanging out with you, and we love doing these live streams. And we'll see you next week at the same time.
Perfect. Have a good one, everyone.
And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the bunny ears on the dock.
How could you not?